you for joining. This is the Try the Parks Don Carter pre-race webinar. We're going to talk everything about the race this Saturday. I'll hit kind of my usual points, kind of go walk through the race step by step, and then I'll answer any questions at all you have. We're recording this. We'll throw it on YouTube after. If we should have time to get any questions. Oh, I see John on. Awesome. So we got one of the race directors here. So if I say anything wrong, he can jump in and correct me. But we should be good. Um, awesome. So yeah, we will go through a little bit about me. We'll talk about what to do leading up to the race. We'll walk through the race step by step. I'll hit some other quick tips. And then if I didn't answer your question, we'll answer any questions at all you have. You can raise your hand, you can throw it in the chat, whatever is easy. So we'll make sure that you walk out of here confident that, hey, I know what's going on and you're going to have a great time. This is one of my favorite races. I think it's the shortest of the races, so it can be pretty quick. But before we get into that, just a quick intro on me. My name is Alex Fuller. I'm a professional triathlete. I've done the Try the Parks races many times. I've won the series twice, I believe. And Don Carter, it's a fun one. I remember the thing we'll talk about in the run, but there's a little downhill on the loop that's just like adrenaline, lots of fun. So the bike is a blast, the whole thing. But so I have three kids. I work in logistics. I'm here in Atlanta, up in like the Alpharetta Cumming area, and yeah, that's a little bit about me. Also some people to check out. Rock Multisport. If you're looking for coaching, give them a holler. All three sports, they sponsor me. Podium Multisport, all three sports, they sponsor this race as well. So it's a good partnership. And Try the Parks, the best race series in, I would argue, all of the United States, but at least in the Atlanta area. I haven't done all the races in the US, so that's what I'm going to say. A little about you guys. So who's competing on Saturday? In general, we get a lot of people that this is their first race. They're like, hey, I want to try this triathlon thing. Let's give it a shot. And if that's you and you're like, I've never done this before, you are among friends. There are lots of people here that this is their first race ever. There's a lot of people that, hey, they've done other Try the Parks races, but not this one. And then some, they're like, hey, I've done this a bunch of times. I know what's going on. You want to find those and follow what they're doing. I did see a raised hand. Brian, did you have a question, or I can keep going otherwise? Just testing out the hand, maybe.
All good.
Okay, awesome. All right. Cool. So yeah, so if this is your first time, you're like, oh man, I feel a little out of my depths. That's all right. This is a very welcoming race. It's a lot of fun, very beginner friendly. So you'll be just set. Feel free to ask questions throughout. Raise your hand, whatever. But anything I don't cover, we'll hit at the end. All right. So let's talk about this week. So the race is Saturday. Leading into it, how do I set myself up to succeed? So I'd recommend you're in the right place today. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I would set out all of my gear and make sure I have everything. I'm good to go. Oftentimes I will find something I'm missing, or like, hey, I need to, fix something here. And if it's Wednesday, there's plenty of time. If you do it, if the first time you're laying out gear is Friday night and you have an issue, you kind of run out of options. So just make sure your gear is good to go tomorrow. Thursday, you have an optional packet pickup at Podium Multisport. I believe it's 10 to 2. But also Thursday, no more hard workouts. You're going into the race. You want to be at least a couple days of easy rest. And then Friday, pack all your stuff, hang out, go to bed early, ready to rock and roll. Don't lose sleep, because it's not the world championship. You don't need to lose sleep over this. Even though, I'm always nervous, but these are friendly races. So that takes you to Friday. Let's talk about race morning before the gun goes off. So first off, let's talk about weather. Starts at 8 a.m. Temperature should be around 72 to 75, so not overly hot. And a lot of this race is actually fairly shaded. And it's a quick short race, so I don't think heat's going to be a crazy concern. I mean, obviously it's Atlanta in August, so like, it is what it is, but I don't think it's going to be too crazy bad. The weather did say, hey, there's a chance of rain, but it looks like all that rain's coming in the afternoon, so we should be good, at least for now. Well, we'll keep an eye on the forecast, but I mean, that's Georgia in the summer. It's going to rain every afternoon. So I'm not worried about the weather. Looks pretty good. Low to mid 70s. So I'm going to wake up on Saturday morning. You can, if you're really far away, you could potentially stay at a hotel nearby. I live about, you know, depending where the races are, hour to 2 hours away. I've found that I actually sleep better in my house and just wake up extra early rather than, saving a couple hours of sleep and waking up closer. But, to each his own. So wake up, head over there, make sure you're you're awake while you're driving. I would recommend trying to get there around 6, no later than like 6:30. That's right when it opens up, but the earlier you get there, the more time you have to just relax, get all your stuff in order, and it's less stress. Versus I've pulled up to a race, this starts at 8. If I pulled up at like 7:30, uh, well, 7:30 is a little too late. But if I pull up at 7, it's a little stressful to get everything put together. It's not impossible, but there's a lot more stress there. So try to be there on the earlier side. If you've done the pack up pickup already, you'll need your bib to get your timing chip. If you haven't, if you're picking up on race day, which is totally fine, it's quick and easy. Then you pick up your packet. This is like a tongue twister. Pick up your packet and then go get your timing chip. Um, I pick up my packet on race day all the time. You might want to consider bringing scissors for your little sticker to put on your bike, but that's your pro tip right there. What to wear? Ideally, a tri-kit is the best option. You can do a swimsuit, but chafing on the bike is a real thing, so that's why tri-kits are what's recommended. So for me, I show up, I try to hit the bathroom because I get nervous. I'll pick up my timing chip or my packet, go to body marking. I'll set up transition, put my gear in transition. We'll talk about that in a second. Get my chamois cream, whatever, my race kit, everything good to go. Maybe hit the bathroom again, hang out for a little bit, help anyone that's maybe straggling or say hi to some friends, and then warm up a little bit, do a little jog, maybe get in the water and swim a little bit and ready to rock and roll. So that's kind of my pre-race routine from when I show up to the start of when the gun goes off or the whatever loud noise. Now, when you line up for the swim, you'll kind of line up based on your race number with whoever's number 1 will be first, then 2, 3, 4, 65, 66. But it's kind of a loose, a flexible lineup. And then, consider a warm-up swim. The weather's not going to be cold. So if you swim and get out of the water, you'll be fine. Versus earlier in the season, if you swam and get out of the water, it's a little chilly. So that's kind of my pre-race routine. Setting up transition. So in transition, there will be like these metal bars that you hang the seat of your bike on, and they'll be numbered. It'll be like, number 1 through 6 or number 105 or, 107 through 110 or whatever. And so if I'm number 100, I'll look for the space that's like 100 through 105. And I don't have to be exactly in order, so I don't have to be next to 99 and 101, but just on that somewhere on that bar that has my number. But anyway, I put my bike there. We alternate one bike this way, one bike the other way, just so there's a little bit more room. You're not squished as much. And then I'm going to lay out my bike shoes. I'm going to lay out my helmet, my running shoes, my race bib, and maybe like sunglasses and a hat or something, just like the picture is here. So I'm gonna lay my stuff out on a towel or some kind of mat, being sure to stay really close to my bike. Don't take up a lot of room. Don't block anyone, that kind of thing. And then the rest of my stuff is like in a backpack or a transition bag, and I'm just going to put that over in the grass or with some friends or something like that. So that's kind of the transition setup. And we'll talk about going through transition and why this is important. But this is how I have it laid out. It looks like this. And then we get down to the water. So about transition will kind of start to wrap up around 7:30, 7:40. They'll say, hey, transitions is closing, head down to the water. So you go down there. It's actually a dock, and I have some pictures of it, which is kind of fun. So it's not like a beach or a boat ramp, like you jump off a dock, which is kind of fun. So you go down there, they'll do a pre-race briefing, which essentially they'll kind of read through what's in your packet. talk through the course, that kind of thing. The referee will talk for a minute. They'll do a national anthem. They'll do a pre-race prayer, and then they'll say, "Hey, we'll start in 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever." And then they'll blow a horn, and that is the beginning of the race. And then they'll go one by one into the water, and we'll talk about that in a second. So sometimes they bring the speakers down to the water to give the briefing. If for some reason you can't hear very well, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's kind of what we're talking about now, but just so you know kind of what's going on. So I'm about to go into the swim. Before we jump into the swim and the actual race, any questions on before the race starts?
I have a quick question.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I am a newbie.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So you mentioned bike shoes and then run shoes. I
Yes.
didn't. I only, when I think of bike shoes, I think of what you clip into the Peloton. Is that
Yeah.
something that's required, or is it something that you must have?
No. Yeah, yeah. If you're like, yeah, if your bike doesn't need special shoes, it's just
Okay.
platform pedals, then your regular run shoes is totally fine. Yeah, good call out.
Okay.
Um,
Got it.
yeah,
Thank
definitely not required. Sorry, I I just assume everyone wears bike shoes, but yeah, then that's totally fine, and you will be much faster in transition than other people trying to get on their bike shoes. So perfect.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I'm excited for you because you're going to have a guaranteed personal best time. It's going to be first race is always the best because you're like, it's the best I've ever done. Um, awesome. All right, so let's jump in the swim. So the swim is a nice 600-yard swim or 600-meter, 650-yard swim. It is a triangle, and you're going to jump off the dock, and you can kind of see on this map right here. Um, this is the best start ever because you can do a cannonball. In fact, you should do a cannonball. So you jump off this dock and you swim, and there'll be a big round red buoy that looks like a tomato, and you're going to turn left there. So you keep the buoy on your left, and then you're going to swim up towards the next tomato buoy, and then you're going to turn and swim into the swim finish. The swim finish will have a like flag type thing, and then it'll have one of those guys that they put in the front of car dealerships that's a dancing guy, and it's the best thing to sight off of. Um, and then in between these big round tomato buoys, there'll be like little triangle buoys, but you keep everything on the left side. But we have John here to potentially correct everything I'm about to say. Oh, but there we go.
There we go. Um, I love everything you said. If you cannonball, make sure you hold the goggles to your eyes well. We've had people lose goggles jumping a little aggressively into the water.
Yes. So John is diving in allowed because I know that's not been allowed in the
No,
past. Okay.
no, it's not allowed.
Gotcha. Yeah, real quick, here's some pictures. Um, so this awesome guy's cannonballing, but he is not holding his goggles. So those goggles might pop off. So that's fair call out. I mean, I'm not in charge of the entire governing body of triathlon, but I think there should be style points for how you start. But anyway, that's separate. So anyway, you jump off this dock here. You can see they're kind of lined up. Not necessarily in perfect numerical order, and that's okay. But you kind of like be in groups of different colored caps. So here's the pink caps, and the blue caps in the back are waiting. So you jump off the dock here. There'll be the start flag, and the water's 10 feet deep or so, and there it's pretty deep. And then you swim the triangle, and then here's the finish, which is kind of a nice boat ramp up. And they'll often have some kind of volunteer person kind of helping you get out of the water. So that is the swim course. And I have disregard this Olympic 2 laps. That's from the wrong presentation. Layla, yes, question. Nope.
Yeah.
There we
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Are there we get tired for a second. I was talking to a friend who's done a sprint before, and he said that there are kayaks just kind of like hanging out along that triangle. That if you need a minute to take a breath, are there kayaks? That's my first question. And if so, would we be disqualified if we were to hang on to it for a second to catch our breath?
Yeah, great question. So there are support people in the water. So you got kayaks, you got um like stand-up paddle boards, maybe like that, like a couple people like that. Um and yes, so like if for some reason you needed to pause, you can hang on for a minute. As long as you don't make forward progress holding on, then you're totally fine. But then at the same time, like if you need like if you actually need help, you're like, oh, and you wave your hand, they'll come over and assist you, whatever. But yeah, so yeah, but it's a fairly short swim, and my recommendation is like, hey, if you need a minute, just kind of roll over your back or do a little breaststroke for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to hang on, there's probably not as many as at some of the really large races, but there's a decent amount of support personnel. I'm looking in the chat. Let's say, yeah, we're good. There's no wires or anything. So they've done this several years, and it's all good. Awesome. So that's the swim. It's anywhere if you're a super speeder swimmer, it could be 8 minutes, or it could be like 15-20 minutes, and that's all right. Take your time, but even on the high end, it's not going to be more than 15-20 minutes. So pretty nice and easy. The sun shouldn't be a huge issue. So yeah. So we come out of the water, and it is time to hit T1. And Layla, I see your hand still up. Do you have another question? Which is totally fine if you do.
Oh, so sorry. No.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take the hand off.
Oh, okay. You're good. Just like I'm gonna ask questions nonstop, which I love it. All right. T1. So you get out of the water, you're gonna run up the boat ramp, and then it's like maybe 50 yards to transition, not that far. While you're running, you can take off your cap, take off your goggles. If you are wearing a swim skin, you can take that off, or start taking that off. That's something I didn't talk about. It's unlikely to be wetsuit legal. It's August, so the water is pretty warm, so no wetsuit. You can wear a swim skin with such a short swim. I'm actually not sure it's worth wearing a swim skin. You might save 10 seconds with a swim skin over the swim, and if you takes longer than 10 seconds to take it off. But certainly, like, if you don't own one, this is not the race to go buy one for, because it's very marginal gains, if that. And I have lots of friends that have forgotten to take off their swim skins, and it's cost them a lot longer. So I'll just throw that out. So if you are wearing one, take it off, and then put on your helmet before you touch your bike. That's a USA triathlon rule. So you snap your helmet, then you can touch your bike, take it off. And you might want to put your bike shoes on first, and then walk your bike out of transition to the mountain line. I'll show a picture of that in a second. If you are on a relay, this is where you're going to hand off the timing chip. So this is the mountain line. Like, it looks kind of like this. There'll be a white placard that says mount here with big tape. And so you're going to walk your bike past that line. Once you've passed it, then you can get on and go ride. And then again, when you come back, you're going to stop before that line, get off the bike, and then walk it in. And that's just a safety thing so that we're not crashing each other in transition. So you're going to mount the bike, and then it's a bit of a uphill. I'll go into the bike. This is the bike course. So we ride out of the park, and then we make a lollipop. We turn left, and then a right. And there will be volunteers and police at the turns. It's not a closed course, but it is Saturday morning in the boonies, and there'll be very few cars, if any. So traffic has rarely ever been an issue at all. But also, you're riding on the road, so be aware of that. But it shouldn't be a big issue. But if you look at this elevation down here, is a decent amount of hills for a 11-mile course. So the first 4 miles are a rolling uphill, and that's going to be like your heart rate's going to be the highest of the entire race probably on those first 4 miles. So riding out of transition, switching to your bike, riding up there, my heart's going to be pumping pretty hard. Around mile 4 to 5, your heart rate might settle as you kind of get a little bit of downhill. And then there's some really fun parts of this race where you have a big downhill and then you jump back up, and then coming into back into transition again, it's a lot of downhill. All that uphill you did, you're going to come back down that. And so the caution is coming back into transition. Be sure you are ready to stop at that mountain line and you don't flip over or something. So yeah, coming out of T1, your heart rate's going to be high. You're going uphill. It's rolling hills throughout. A couple of those hills you might get out of the saddle if it's steep enough. Drafting, we'll talk about that more in a second. No headphones, that's a safety rule. No headphones at any point in the race, swim, bike, or run. And then again, yeah, that downhill, that dismount line can sneak up on you. So kind of as you know you're coming close to it, maybe slow down a little bit. Drafting, let's talk about that. So drafting, this non-draft triathlon is a non-drafting sport. So drafting is when you're right behind someone and they block the air for you, and riding your bike is a lot easier because they're blocking the air. So because we don't want to do that, we need to stay 12 meters or 6 bike lengths apart. And so, as long as you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bike lengths apart, and you're riding, that's no problem. And then once you're like, hey, this person, I can pass them, you're going to go to the left of them, and then you have 15 seconds to make a pass. If you're at the tippy front part of this race, you probably know about drafting pretty well. So it's not, same rules as always. If this is your first race, I wouldn't overly stress about this. Just don't get right behind people. Give them some space, right? So here's a picture on the left that, that's everyone is pretty good distance from everyone. This is like coming right out of the hill. And so that's kind of what it looks like. Everyone's kind of given their space. These two are maybe a little close, but they just started the bike course, so I'm going to give them a little grace there. But yeah, so that's kind of overall bike course. It's 11 miles, and it's fast and furious. So John, what other good goodies you got for us?
The only thing I want to add to that is once you get past, you can't suddenly decide you're faster than the person that just passed you. You have to drop back out of their draft zone before you can repass them again. Or maybe you can explain that better. I don't know if I explained that the best, but I think you know what rule I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm following behind someone. I'm doing vertical. We're going straight uphill for this. All right. And I'm 6 bike lengths back. And then I'm like, all right, I'm ready to pass this person. So I move to the left and I start to pass them. Now, as soon as I go in front of them, the person being passed, their job is to slowly, or not, but to drop back and get out of their draft zone. So what would be wrong is if this is me, someone's trying to pass me, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to stick with them, and then I'm going to try to pass them again. That would be a drafting violation. So when I get passed, I need to drop back, and then if I'm going to pass someone, I pass and then drop back. So there's a lot more detailed explanations online if this is something you're worried about, or we can go through it more. But that's the general idea, is to minimize the advantage, or the unfair advantage you get from drafting. So, and we could talk about Race Ranger and all fun stuff. But the racing with the pros is a whole different experience. But we'll do that later. So this is the bike, and we'll talk about T2 in just a second. But Marissa has her hand raised up. What do you got?
Hi, could you just elaborate a little bit more for the relay teams about the transition from bike to swim or bike to run?
Yes. And John, I might call a friend here on this. So you have your timing chip is on a strap on your leg. And so the person swims, they come to transition, they undo their Velcro strap and hand it to the next person, correct, John?
Yeah, they meet at wherever the bike is racked. they'll meet at their bike rack spot, and they'll pass that. The biker will then put it on their ankle, and then go out on the bike, come back on the bike, and then they'll re-enter the bike transition area. And once again, where the bike was racked before, obviously there's no bike there, but that same spot where they have their stuff, they'll meet with the runner and they'll pass it to the runner, and the runner will then strap that to their fastest ankle so that it'll get across the line first.
Nice.
Great, thank you.
And John, the relay teams are they have like their own rack area, right?
No, they're in with the other. They're in with just everybody else.
Okay.
No.
They're with everyone. Okay. Perfect. All right. So then we finished the bike, and it is T2. So we're going to dismount before that line, and then we're going to walk our bike in and put it in the same spot. Only after our bike is racked can we then touch our helmet straps and undo our helmet, take it off, put it down, switch shoes if you need to, if you're already wearing your running shoes and you're good to go. And then I grab my number belt and maybe my hat and some glasses. Again, we talked about the relay, and then you head out of transition where it says run out. And then so real quick, this is something that a lot of people use, something like this, a race belt. And it's just like a Velcro. I mean, it's just like a strap with a hook, and it has these little dangly things that you put through the race. My super technical explanation, little dangly things that you put through the race belt. That way, after the bike, you can just grab this and put it on, and then that's where your race belt number is. You can also just use safety pins. We hand out safety pins at the packet check-in, but that can take some time or whatever. And you don't want to wear the number while you're swimming because the water will mess it up. So a lot of people will do something like this. There's an Amazon link to one. I mean, I found them for like 10 to $20. They have them at all three sports or Podium Multi-Sport when you pick up your packet. So just something to consider. Otherwise, you might be in transition kind of safety pinning on, which is totally fine as well. So then we get on to the run. This is the run. This is a fun run. I remember this run very, very well. So we're in transition. We run up, and then we run along this path. And I have the elevation map down below, but the first, I don't know, quarter of a mile is like a decent uphill. Like it feels like you're running a hill repeat. And then it kind of levels out, and then you go around this loop, and this is all like in a nice paved path through the park, and it's nice and shady. There's trees all around. So you run through that, you run back down, you take a right turn, and then you run on the road for a little bit and come back down. So all of that is 1.5 miles. You do it again for your second 1.5 miles, and then you come in and run to the finish. Here's some pictures real quick just to give you an idea. So that is coming off the path down towards the finish. That's where the photographer was. This is them coming across the finish. That's what the finish line looks like. It's a blue arch with finish on it. So things I remember about this. So the first 4th mile is a uphill, and it's like, I don't know. I'm always like, I'm giving it all I got, but like I just remember like, man, this is brutal. And then it flattens out, not too bad after that. And then about, I don't know, halfway through the loop, there is a little drop on the path that's like, I don't know, 30 feet, and it is a steep downhill, right? So be careful if it has rained recently and there's like wet leaves. That's the one safety tip I'll put out. It's like there's one steep downhill. If there's some wet leaves, just be careful of that to not slip. There are aid stations. There's an aid station like halfway through this course. And so because of that, you hit it 4 times on the course. So about every 3/4 of a mile, you'll hit this aid station of just water. And then, yeah, again, it's pretty shaded. Let's see. Questions in the chat. Can you wear your race number on your bike? You can. That's like a European rule. They require that. We don't require that in the US, but yeah, you can clip on your number, and you either wear it with safety pins or a lot of people use one of those clips and then twist it around so their number's on the back. So you can do that. You only need to wear your race number on the run. And that's, there you go. Let's see. Do you recommend bringing gels? All right. So that's a good question. I, for me, like towards the front of the race, it takes about an hour. And so I don't really need like for about an hour effort, you don't really need any nutrition. The water's nice because it feels good. I'll normally like just dump it on my head. And most people, they're going to be like in the hour to an hour and a half range, which you don't necessarily need a gel or anything, but you definitely could. Like once you get to the hour and a half range, having a gel, maybe halfway through the bike would be good timing for it. Maybe I'd have a water bottle on my bike, maybe with some electrolytes or something in there. But for the 5K run, I might have one at the beginning. If I didn't have one on the bike, I might have a gel right at the beginning. If I know I'm going to be more towards like the 2 hour time frame for this, then yeah, maybe I want a couple gels just to get through it. So I like nutrition's not going to make or break this race because it is so short versus longer races where it's a big deal. But yeah, I mean, if you're like, hey, I'd love to have a gel halfway through the bike or towards the beginning of the run, I think that's fine. Definitely don't need to like carry a bunch of them with you. And then there is a question on aqua bikers. I'm gonna hit that in just a minute after I finish. And we'll talk about duathlon and aqua bike. So then post race, there's some snacks, usually bananas, oranges, that kind of thing. I do recommend bringing some additional food and maybe some clothes to change into. Not a big deal, but something to think about. Awards usually start around 11. Have fun, meet people, hang out. You usually, once the last bike comes in, you can start moving your stuff out of transition. There's an awesome photographer, Nicole, that takes pictures. These are all pictures from her. They'll upload those usually within about 24 hours. And then be sure to tag Try the Parks on all your social medias and say, hey, that was awesome. So let's talk real quick about aqua bikers and duathlon. So duathlon start will be somewhere over here. And John, you'll have to correct me here, but if I'm doing the duathlon, it's run, bike, run. So I'm going to do the run course, and there'll be a sign that says do start, like DU start. And that's where the duathletes line up. They'll start at the same time. Yeah, John, anything else to add?
No, that's all correct. Yeah, that's correct.
So they'll run the same course. Sometimes we do it backwards, but I think this one we just do straight. Yeah.
Correct.
So you just do that course, go do the bike, and then you come back and do the course again. So you get to do this loop 4 times. You get your money's worth on this one. Aqua bike, you're going to start the swim. You're going to do the bike. And then if you're an aqua biker, you'll rack your bike, and then you will like exit, transition, and run around to the finish line and finish there.
And you're going to exit as if you're going out towards the run. You don't go back out the bike exit.
Correct, because then you'd be running into incoming bikes, and
correct.
It's all for safety. It's like, why do we have all these rules? It's like, yeah, we just don't want you to get hurt. So, other quick questions, then we'll go to other questions. The bike you're expected on the bike to be self-sufficient, so there's no like tech support out there. So if you have a flat tire or something, have a flat kit. But also like if someone were to have a big issue, we'll have someone driving the course at the end to make sure everyone made it, or if we hear if someone had an issue or whatever, we'll send someone out there. But there's not like a mechanic that's out there supporting. There's no aid station on the bike. It's 11 miles, so you should survive. And then other than that, I think that's most of the normal questions. You can pick up your packet race day, and it's super easy. It's quick, so I wouldn't stress about that. If you can't, like picking it up on Thursday at Podium Multisport's awesome because you can grab last minute things and you're in the tri store and like, hey, this is cool. But picking up race day morning, it like maybe there's a line of 2 people and you have to wait a minute, but it's nice and quick. Brian, what question you got?
Yeah, so kind of first time aquabike here. Coming out of T2, so Rock the Bike, am I running out of T2 in my bike shoes, or am I required to put on running shoes? I know that may be stupid, but I want to ask.
I think most people run in their bike shoes.
Okay, just run out and go across the line. You're done, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing we see, if you want to leave some people like to exit their bike with their shoes still attached to their bike. They unstrap and take their feet, come out, and will run up barefoot. But those are the two prominent ways we see it. And there will be people we will be on the lookout for you, and we will be directing you to the aqua bike area, to the aqua bike lane that we'll create for the finish.
Awesome. Thank you.
Layla has a question about how do you get your race number? So when you do your packet pickup, you'll have your race number there. You'll be like, oh, Layla, you're number 157 or whatever. And that it's based on when you registered, they ask like how fast can you swim? I don't know, 400 or something like that. And ideally, we have our fastest swimmers start first and our slowest swimmers start last, so that people aren't running each other. But also, it's not a perfect system. So generally, that's how people are seated. But yeah, so you'll pick up your packet. You can do it on race morning. In there will be all your numbers and everything, and then you say, okay, 157. I'm going to go to the racks, and there'll be a rack that says this is for numbers 155 through 160, and you just put your bike on somewhere on that rack. Great question. All right, what other questions we got? All right, so putting it on during the race, do you place this with your belongings? Layla, you want to come off mute and just ask the question in a little more detail? I'm trying to make sure I answer what you're looking for.
Yeah. Because we're not going to have it on as we're swimming, of course. So I was just thinking, for transition purposes, do we put it on once we get out of the water? But you had also said that it doesn't necessarily have to be on during the biking portion.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So when do you put on your number? So, yeah, most people put them on to start the run. So you don't wear it. You don't wear it on the bike, but then as you head off to the run. So right here, you can see this blue strap is one of those straps that has my number attached to it. And so that's just going to stay there in transition until I come back from the bike. And then I'm going to throw it on. And actually, here's a picture. So this is me. I've put my bike back on the rack, and then I'm like literally buckling on my number here as I head off to the run. So that's when you do it.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. And we are friendly people, and there are friendly people there, and they will answer. If all your questions come up and you show up race morning, or first off, I'll give the opening option. If you have any questions that come up after, you can message me like on Instagram or whatever. I'm happy to answer all your questions. But then you show up on race morning, like, oh, I don't understand this or this. First off, there's like 200 of your future friends around you that are happy to help with anything. John's here. Any of the race directors can help you as well. So this is a very inclusive, friendly sport. No one's going to give you the stink eye. And if they do, they shouldn't be racing. So let's see. Gel recommendations. Whatever gels that you've used before, I wouldn't do anything you haven't used before. The rule is to not do anything new on race day. This is also a friendly race, so doing new stuff isn't a big deal. I love Cliff brand gels. The goos are good. Anything everything at Podium Multisport's good. So whatever flavor sounds good, I would do that. I did have like a root beer flavored gel once, and that was a mistake. Like I thought it'd be good, but it was not good. So anything besides that. Friends and family are welcome to come. We love spectators. I brought all my little kids many, many times. If you have kids that are on the older side, like preteens or teenagers, we would be happy to have them volunteer a little bit, maybe hand out water or something. So could get them involved potentially. But yeah, there's plenty of parking, a big parking lot, so they can just park there and then be on the side and cheer for you. Unfortunately, it's not the most spectator friendly sport, but at least for like a good 20, 30 seconds, they'll get a good view of you in transition.
One thing, Alex,
Yes.
if friends and family come and they're not riding with you, there's plenty of places to park, but your parking was included in your parking was included in registration, and they will need to be prepared to pay for parking as they enter the park.
Gotcha. And that's you're paying to enter the park.
Yes, just like you would if you're going to another state park.
Yeah, and I believe it's $5 or $10.
$5.
$5. Okay, awesome. Good call. Let's see, Nicholas. Maybe.
We can't hear you, Nicholas.
Yeah, you can type it in the chat, or once you figure out your mic. Let's see. So I understand we can't have AirPods. Is it okay to use a phone to track the bike portion and to listen to music? The rule is no, in that like if you're not supposed to have a phone at all generally. USAT has changed the rules a little bit where if you wanted to like stop your bike and pull out your phone, I believe that's maybe allowed, but in general, I would not have my phone for the race. I don't know, John, is that your understanding?
I thought I've heard now that they can use their phone as a bike computer, but they cannot try to make any phone calls, any messages, nor can they play any music. The no music thing is still, no matter what's going on, they can't have any music playing. But my understanding now is they can actually have one, like you would have a bike, like they have those little computer holders that you can have a phone doing, and it's literally just going to be tracking your biking, and that's it.
Yeah, you can use a bike computer, but that's it. So kind of a bummer, but it's not that long. You'll be all right, and you'll be hearing the cheers instead.
And that's a lot of people ask about that. That's a safety thing so that you can be aware of your surroundings and hear cars and what's going on around you. That's where that rule comes from.
Yeah. JT has a question. He and his daughter have different numbers. Can they still start the swim together? Yes. And so, like, you can ideally everyone kind of lines up by their number. But if you're like, oh shoot, I signed up for the wrong number here, I need to be in a different number. Like that's totally fine. Especially if you're like moving towards the back. Like if you're number like 200 and be like, oh, I want to be number one. Like number one might kind of look at you funny, but yeah, like feel free to whoever's the lower number, just go together. That's totally fine. Good question, John, on the duathlon. Do they need to wear their race number belt for both runs? I believe it's just the last run.
I think it's both.
Is it both? Okay.
Yeah, and Anne's agreeing with me beside me here, so we're pretty sure it's both.
Okay, good question. Dale asked, can you run with a pack? Absolutely. So there's no drafting rules on the run. So run with the pack all you want, but the secret move is you run with the pack, and then 50 yards before the finish, you sprint in front of all of them, so you beat them all. So, I mean, that's obviously what you need to do. Marianka is wondering about the best email if you have questions. Let's see, info at Try the Parks works great. If you want to ask me anything, just hit me up on Instagram at AlexFullerTry, and I'm happy to answer anything that your questions have. And then Nicholas, how far is the packet pickup and start area from the campground area?
I've been there. Yeah, it depends on exactly where you're camping, and they have a couple different campsites, I believe, or campsite areas. So I can't remember exactly what it was.
Let's look. Let's do this live.
He's doing it live.
So it's there, and the boat ramp is like down here, I believe. Is that where we're gonna get this one? Do you need to pay to park to pick up my packet Friday at the park? It's a good question.
No, you shouldn't. If you just let them know you're coming to pick up your packet, they should just let you come on in.
Yeah, I We'll go with what JT said of it's maybe like a mile from the camp area. Do women typically wear what they are wearing for the swim portion for the entirety of the race? I'd say usually, like there's not really anywhere to change in transition. Like we don't have like changing booths or whatever. So I'd say the vast majority of people, whatever they wear for the swim, they're going to wear for the whole time. Some of them wear swimsuits, some of them wear a tri suit, that kind of thing. All right, we got some good questions. Any last call for questions? Nice. John, any last words from you before I wrap it up here?
No, just want to say thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is a fun race. Like it is fast, wild, and crazy, and it's like a blur. And then afterwards, you're like, man, that was super hard, but super fun. So, really, really fun race. A couple things I'm gonna pitch real quick. I am running a triathlon camp in North Georgia, the Blue Ridge area, in September. So it's starts September 11th, Thursday, runs through Sunday, like 4 days of swim, bike, run with pro triathletes and non-pro triathletes. So it's beginner, intermediate friendly. Check that out, endurancecadence.com. We'll have details there. If you're like, hey, this is kind of fun, especially after the race, like, hey, this is kind of fun. I'd love to do some more. I'm part of the Rock Multisport coaching group. Really, really good coaches over there. And they, so if you're looking for a coach, we do lots of open water swim practices, which are great for this. And then here are all the sponsors that make this possible. I love Try the Parks. It's awesome. Last question before we call it a day. Someone asked for the packing list. There are lots and lots of packing lists online. This one, triathlon.racechecklist.com, that I just threw in the chat. That's my favorite one. It's free. It's easy. It's kind of silly. They suggest you pack a victory speech, which I've never needed that before. But I don't know. There's lots of them out there. That one tends to have, it's pretty extensive, whether for a sprint or a full Ironman. So I'll recommend that one. But we'll close it up there. Thank you guys so much. We'll post this on, oh man, the race doesn't. All right, just Google triathlon race checklist. I'll find it. I'll throw it on the YouTube video as well. But thank you guys for joining, and have a wonderful race on Saturday. Let me know how it goes, and good luck.